Mourinho fielded a 4-2-3-1 formation against Leicester City. It's one of his most favoured formations, as we have seen from his time at Chelsea in the past. It was a shift from the 4-3-3 they deployed against West Brom. Leicester City matched Manchester United's 4-2-3-1 with a defensive-minded iteration of their own. And it was also the first time in a while that we saw Nemanja Matic and Paul Pogba start together in midfield. Now, Jose Mourinho knew that they would be the dominant team, and we saw Ashley Young marauding forward, while the winger Anthony Martial and later Marcus Rashford moved inwards as a sort of a second striker in the gap behind Lukaku and just in front of the midfield. On the other flank, Victor Lindelof usually moved inwards for a makeshift back three that was possibly to counter Leicester's three-pronged counter that was in the form of Riyad Mahrez, Jamie Vardy and Mark Albrighton. Iborra and Ndidi, the two defensive midfielders, sat a little deeper than usual, and they were ready to break up United's play and feed the ball up to Jamie Vardy or Mahrez. And as we saw that Leicester City attacked almost exclusively on the counter. Now, the three main reasons why Leicester City basically won a point. The first, scoring that relatively early first goal, which is extremely unusual, as it is Manchester United who draw the early first blood. Now, the goal was a classic Leicester City goal, with Riyad Mahrez leading the break, drawing defenders, and then feeding it to a racing Jamie Vardy, who easily outpaced his marker Phil Jones and slotted past a hapless De Gea. Now, this brings us to the second reason. Leicester City was sumptuous on the counter. If anyone wonders how they won the title 2 years back, they should be shown this game. Ndidi had a standout game along with the rest of City's defense. They cramped United and left them no space, and even distant shooters like Pogba and Martial weren't given with much. Finally, it was their spirit. They never gave up. Being dominated the whole game and then going a man down, they still waited and persisted, and finally the equalizer came. Well, I guess foxes never quit. Now, the three main reasons that Manchester United lost the 2 points. Now, firstly, they played with a relatively slower tempo. Now, whether it was due to tiredness or complacency, it doesn't really matter. It's not what they should have been doing. Well, after the first goal, they shifted gears and they did score a couple of goals to turn the game around. But that brings me to my second point, and that's they were extremely complacent and error-prone in the last few minutes. Especially Chris Smalling, who made a really dumb mistake. Like, he was injured and he forced himself on and he marked Harry Maguire's run during that last play, which resulted in Leicester scoring and equalizing. Someone else should have been marking Maguire. Someone who was not injured. And finally, it was United's wastefulness that was the final nail in their coffin. Lukaku, Lingard, Martial, Rashford, each of them had an open goal opportunity which they wasted. Doesn't help their case at all.